Hi, I'm Andy Kliske. I'm a professor of landscape social ecology and I'm the test case leader for the EPSCoR SouthCentral test case. So Alaska ACE, or Alaska Adapting to Changing Environments, is a university statewide program that aims to improve and increase research capacity in all of the universities. The SouthCentral test case is one of 3 test cases in Alaska ACE, and the SouthCentral test case focuses on the Kenai River watershed and on social ecological interactions in that system, particularly with respect to how hydrologic change and landscape change affect the communities in the Kenai and their use and values of salmon. There's probably two ways in which the research is being applied. One is in terms of extending and expanding our science, our understanding of change that's occurring. But another really important one is in how this can improve and benefit communities and their ability to respond to change. We're very interested in trying to tie community livelihood, community response and adaptation to the hydrologic and landscape changes that are being seen and that we're measuring.
My name is Dan Ranella. I am a freshwater ecologist with the Alaskan Natural Heritage Program, and I teach a couple classes for the biology department. I teach fish ecology and ichthyology. A big focus of the SouthCentral test case is understanding how variation and change in climate and changing land cover affects the abundance of salmon in the Kenai River watershed. So one of the ways that we're going to try to get at this is to pull some sediment cores from a couple different rearing lakes on the Kenai Peninsula, and through some biological analysis and some chemical analysis, reconstruct the abundance of salmon over the past 2,000 years within the Kenai River.
My name is Mark Wifley, and I'm a freshwater ecologist and sort of a fisheries ecologist with the University of Alaska up in Fairbanks. We're interested in sort of looking across the landscape at the sort of wetland or lowland dominated watersheds versus intermediate watersheds such as the Russian River that have a little bit higher gradient, a more recent history of glacial influence, all the way up to streams like ptarmigan. But we're just interested in how, in this particular project, how water chemistry, physical habitat, and even food abundance for the fish may be changing.
The best thing that we could do would be to compare, current data to some sort of historic data, and then ideally let those data tell us something about future conditions, because that really is the goal of this project, to understand how are these salmon populations going to respond to changes over the next 50 or so years. But to some extent we don't have a lot of historic data, so we have to in some cases maybe substitute spatial variation within the watershed, look at for changes over time. The sort of overarching goal then is to look at, kind of characterize how these watersheds within the Kenai River basin have changed over the last 50 or so years, and try to relate that back to salmon abundance, in particular king salmon abundance, because these are important Chinook king salmon rearing areas.
Another really important aspect of this test case and how we're developing is the partnership between the university research team and community partners. It's very integrative between the science, the community partnerships, the outreach and education. Those are all are being, I think, woven together, and I think it's important that they're seen to be woven together.
Hi, my name's Jim Powell, and I'm a postdoc at the University of Alaska Fairbanks at the SNAP office there. For EPSCoR, what I'm doing is really doing surveys about people's perceptions of environmental change. change being hydrologic change, what they're seeing, their observations. So it's really trying to capture their observations, their local knowledge.
The important piece of understanding perceptions is based on the idea that what people think, the way they perceive, their awareness, that acts as a very important filter in the behaviors that we have toward the environment.
One thing that's really interesting about this project is that it will ultimately make linkages between sort of the biology of these salmon rearing systems and the landscape and the changing hydrology in these systems, and then try to take that one step further and link it to the societies on the Kenai River that depend on these salmon resources, and try to make some conclusions about how they can best adapt and anticipate changes in salmon abundance over time.